one, I want to walk through a process that you could use, actually 3 processes you could use in generating a topic for your personal essay. If we were in class, in the classroom, like in real school, we would go over this and I would have you actually do one of these methods and then show it to me for completion points. But due to the nature of online schooling, it's up to you if you want to try using one of these methods. I think getting your thinking out on paper is a really good way for you to narrow down your topic and get to the important part, to get to that meat, to get to the place where there are no more so what questions to answer. So these are 3 different methods for how to generate a topic. The first method is mind mapping. This is something that you've been doing probably throughout school, right? You begin with a central idea, you create branches and bubbles from the central idea that get ever more detailed and specific the farther out from the center that you go. Here's an example of a mind map. Someone created a mind map for his or her favorite pastimes. This is the British spelling of favorite. And so they broke down favorite pastimes into 4 main categories: outdoor, indoor, in the summer, in the winter. And then from those categories made them more and more specific. So that's one example of a mind map. Someone did this with a computer. I like this one because it is so creative. Let me move the screen a little bit. There, see? It's very creative and very colorful, and it's centered on goals. So this is almost like a dream board or a goal planner. And this says things that I want to accomplish, achieve, or integrate into my daily life. And so they go to big ideas: enjoy everything, work, embrace the unknown, personal things, right? And so then from these broader ideas, they get into more specific details. So personal what? Personal growth and development. So be in the present moment. What does that mean? Don't worry about the future, let it be. Find a balance between self and others. Be open and look within, give and receive. And so you can see how they go from this central idea to more specific ideas to then even more specific ideas. And I just like this one because it's colorful and it's pretty. So you could create a mind map. Another strategy you could use is something that's called narrowing lists. And this is where you start with a general topic, like let's say I want to write something about growing up on the farm. That's my general topic. Well, what is it about the farm that I want to write about? And I'm just going to brainstorm, right? Do kind of a brain dump of lists and what is it about the farm? And I think this is a really good one to get yourself into that practice of asking those so what questions, right? Growing up on the farm, so what? Learning about hard work, so what? And then getting more and more specific the farther you get down the list. Here is an example. The benefits of manual labor. This one I kind of developed from that idea of growing up on the farm, right? And how doing physical work has benefits to it. So why do I think that? Because it's good exercise. I can spend time outdoors. I use my brain differently. And so here I started getting more specific. Use my brain differently. So what? What's the big deal? Well, I can stop thinking because sometimes I overthink. And when I'm doing physical manual labor, it takes me out of my head, right? Or sometimes I can think differently. I can focus on something other than school and my work and other, whatever other issues are eating for brain attention. Sometimes manual labor can be meditative, right? When I am doing physical labor, I don't put in earbuds. In fact, a lot of times I'll put on sound canceling headphones or ear protection, right? Especially if I'm mowing lawn. And so I'm in this silence in my head and it becomes very meditative. I can ponder problems or issues or things that I need to figure out. Sometimes I am a faith person, and so sometimes I use that time to pray. and to pray for others and to pray about things that are bothering me or that I need to figure out. Sometimes I make plans and set goals. Sometimes I just spend time in that silence and let my brain wander. I think about books that I've read or movies that I've watched. And so I went from manual labor has benefits to how manual labor helps me use my brain differently by giving me space and time in quiet to do all of these activities, right? So it went from general to specific. And so then I went from lawn work. So I went from that idea of physical labor being meditative to being real specific about lawn work as meditation and the lessons learned. So again, these are the qualities or the things that I do as I do physical labor, like mowing the lawn or digging weeds in my garden. And so then what I need to do is I need to come up with examples or stories of doing lawn work when the process of working brought enlightenment, how I lost track of time, how I work till I'm done, how I accomplish goals, how there's a gift in that time of not talking, in that time of silence, right? Because you have to confront who you really are when you aren't being distracted by outside noise. And so now I'm getting to a place where I could write an interesting personal essay about something that I've learned and something that has changed me. So that's the list narrowing. The third option is a free write. And sometimes I like the list narrowing. I mean, I use all three of these depending on what it is I'm writing. And I like them for different reasons. But I like the free write just because it is a way to do a brain dump. And you don't have to worry about grammar, sentence structure, organization, none of it. You just write. So you choose a topic and you write. And one of the things that I notice is that a lot of times when I get to the end, whatever the end is, depending on which option I use for free writing, by the time I get to the end, I have found a starting place for the essay I need to write or the essay I want to write. So choose a topic and write, right? And just write. And then review the writing for clear ideas. And then repeat the process of the writing and reviewing until you get to where you want to be. So here are two options for how to do this. First, you select a topic and free write about that topic. You can set a page limit. For example, tell yourself, I'm going to write 3 sides of pages, right? And I'm going to write nonstop until I have those 3 pages full. Or maybe you don't have the stamina for 3. Maybe you say, I'm going to do a front and a back on a paper and just write until that's full. And then stop once it's done. The second option would be to set a time limit. For example, write for 10 or 15 minutes nonstop. That's kind of why we've been having you do timed writings in class and encouraging you. You have, 7 or 8 minutes, write more than half a page, try to get that whole page filled, because it's just building up that stamina for writing and generating ideas and developing your thinking. So you could go by page limit, you could go by time limit. Then, once you've written it, set it aside. Walk away, go get a drink of water, play a video game for 10 minutes, watch YouTube videos, TikTok, whatever. Change your brain, change your location for 10 minutes. Then come back and read what you wrote. Look for an idea or concept that can become the centerpiece of a philosophy of life essay, a this I believe essay, a college essay, a personal essay. Look for vivid details. What's jumping out? What did your mind grab onto and express in your writing? Look for interesting ideas, examples that explain your thinking. If you need to, write more. There have been times when I will sit down and do a free write, and when the time is up or I've reached my page limit, I'm just getting into the good stuff. So what I'll do is I'll take the end of that free write and use it as the start of a new one and see if I can't deepen that idea and flesh it out and make it come alive. Okay, so think about one of these ideas as you're trying to generate an idea for your personal essay. Think about a truth you believe about life in general, about your life specifically. Why do you believe this truth? And keep asking yourself why until there are no more why questions to answer, right? Like that essay you read about always look under second base. Really, that isn't an essay about Little League ball and kids flipping the base over. It's about always being curious. Well, why should we always be curious? What do we get out of that? Or maybe there's a truth for always being grateful or always being kind. And think about a story and a time in your life when you learned that and how that has impacted you and who you've become and your life today. Again, you can read through the prompts in the assignment guide handout. Think of an answer for one of them and think about why you have that answer. If the prompt is asking you to write about someone significant, who is significant to you? Why are they significant to you? If you're answering the prompt write about an important place, why is it important? How has it affected your life? There's a prompt that's asking for your background story. That story of how and why and who you are. So those are ideas that you could think about and write about. And again, remember, you have to be focusing on that so what. Here is the essay for write about something you love. I mentioned this one. Sorry, my phone dinged. I mentioned this one in the screencast about the assignment itself. So in 2018, Carolina Williams, who's from Tennessee, went to Yale in 2018, and this was one of her essays that got her in. She had to write 2, and this is one that was shared, and it kind of ran viral back in 2018. So the prompt was write about something you love. The sound of my doorbell starts off high, and then the pitch mellows out, and the whole effect mimics an instrumental interruption of rain, or interpretation of rain, finally finding a steady pace at which to fall. I spent several minutes analyzing its tone because I have had many opportunities to do so, as one thing I love to do is order pizza and have it delivered to my house. When the delivery person rings my doorbell, I instantly morph into one of Pavlov's dogs, salivating to the sound that signals the arrival of the cheesy circular glory. It smells like celebration, as I love to rejoice a happy occasion by calling Papa John's for my favorite food. It tastes like comfort, since having pizza delivered to my quiet home is a way for me to unwind. It looks like self-sufficiency because when I was young, ordering pizza made me feel grown up, and it still provides that satisfaction for my child at heart. Accepting those warm cardboard boxes is second nature to me, but I will always love ordering pizza because of the way 8 slices of something so ordinary are able to evoke feelings of independence, consolation, and joy. And so this article I pulled from the Washington Post. All right, she takes an ordinary situation and she makes it into something abstract, right? Independence, consolation, joy through ordering pizza. If you're thinking, dang, this is short, you're right, but she had a word limit to work with, and you'll find that with some of the essays that you write, either for college or for scholarships, that they have very strict word limits. And even though this is a small amount of words, the essay really works because she packs a lot into it. So that is some of the ideas I have for you to help you generate ideas for your essay. Good luck, and let me know if you have any questions.